Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Trump administration dials back Shulkin firing rumors, for now. President Donald Trump may be itching to fire him, but Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin has the support of GOP lawmakers and veterans, and the lack of a preferred successor may keep him at the agency's helm at least for now. Trump's consternation with Shulkin bubbled over Monday, as he was meeting with Energy Secretary Rick Perry and planning Rex Tillerson's ouster from the State Department. Trump didn't offer Perry the job, nor did he ask if Perry wanted it, but the events prompted speculation that a major cabinet shakeup is in the works. Before Trump's frustration with Shulkin spilled into the open, the mercurial president personally was pushing legislation that Shulkin had helped craft, and the White House was publicly defending the VA secretary. One reason: veterans, a key block of political support for Trump, have circled the wagons to protect Shulkin, as have leading Republicans in Congress. And rumors that Shulkin mismanaged his security detail are premature at best, Politico has learned. With the policy and political stakes high, administration officials and others on Wednesday were tamping down rumors of Shulkin's imminent dismissal. There are no personnel changes to announce at the Department of Veterans Affairs, agency spokesman Kurt Kasher said in a written statement. President Trump has made clear that he expects the department's sole focus to be on providing quality care to America's veterans who have sacrificed to keep this country free and safe. A Perry spokesman on Wednesday denied reports that Trump had offered the Energy Secretary the top VA job. Perry told reporters he expected to stay at Energy until the foreseeable future. Shulkin has been under fire since February, when the agency's Inspector General reported that his then Chief of Staff doctored an email so that taxpayers would pick up the tab for the Secretary's wife to accompany him on a 10-day trip to Europe. Amid calls for his resignation, Shulkin suggested the email was sent by a hacker and launched an internal investigation into subversion within the VA's ranks. He has repaid the cost of his wife's flights. Last week, Shulkin was summoned to the West Wing, where Chief of Staff John Kelly warned him to stop talking to the media without White House permission. In the Oval Office, Trump quizzed Shulkin about progress on legislation to expand veterans' access to private doctors. Those meetings came amid press reports that the VA's Inspector General was about to drop a second damning report, this time over rumors that Shulkin used his security detail to help him with personal errands. No such report is imminent, and it's not evident that investigators have uncovered any wrongdoing, a person familiar with the AG's work told Politico. Inspectors have been asking questions about Shulkin's security detail but could be months away from releasing any findings, the person said. A spokesman for Inspector General Michael Missel said the office does not confirm or deny the existence of investigations. Since the February Inspector General report, which also faulted Shulkin for improperly accepting free Wimbledon tickets, the VA's new Chief of Staff, Peter O'Rourke, with the blessing of the White House, has been meeting with staffers suspected of undermining the secretary. The tug-of-war over Shulkin is a proxy for another battle being fought inside the agency, where some Trump political appointees, including White House liaison Jake Klein and Cagill and Public Affairs Chief John Elliott, are pushing for less government involvement in medical care for former service members. Shulkin and most veterans service organizations are fiercely opposed to privatization of the system, which Perry, by contrast, has endorsed. Removing Shulkin now could be disruptive to other agency initiatives that have Trump's backing, however. The VA, for example, is in the midst of overhauling its health technology infrastructure and shepherding legislation from Senators John Isakson, Republican Georgia, and John Tester, Democrat Montana, that would make it easier for veterans to see private doctors but stop short of privatizing the system. Shulkin's team also is negotiating a $10 billion to $15 billion contract that would join the VA and Department of Defense medical records under a single technological umbrella. If successful, the effort could serve as a model for the country's broader health care system. Trump has limited options when it comes to replacing Shulkin, a political moderate and former hospital executive who is the only Obama administration holdover in his cabinet. Shulkin has no obvious successors, and Trump is unhappy with the VA's second-in-command, Thomas Bowman, who would inherit the top slot temporarily if Shulkin were ousted. Bowman is said to be opposed to the administration's plan to expand the VA's use of private health care providers. He, too, was recently summoned to the White House, where he got a dressing down from the Office of Presidential Personnel. It was a study in mixed messages. As the secretary and his deputy were getting schooled at the White House, Trump spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders was defending Shulkin on live television. Secretary Shulkin has done a great job, Sanders told reporters March 7. We're going to continue to do everything we can to protect the veterans and helps veterans in this country. It's something that the president talked about extensively on the campaign and has directed Director Shulkin to take an aggressive approach, and he's done that since becoming secretary. Shulkin also continues to win endorsements from key Republicans, including Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman Representative Phil Rowe, Republican Tennessee, and a Shulkin. Shulkin has done a bang-up job, Rowe said Wednesday. I would certainly hate to see him leave that position. We have a great working relationship. He understands the needs of the veterans, and he understands the VA, like I understand the VA, from the examining room up. Trump personally called Shulkin last week to discuss his VA healthcare bill, which was drafted with Shulkin's help. Trump has endorsed the legislation, which would make it easier for service members to get health care from private providers outside the VA system. The bill is ready for a floor vote, an Shulkin aide told Politico. Shulkin continues to have confidence in the secretary, the aide said. They've made a lot of progress. It would be a shame to let infighting get in the way of what we've accomplished. Eliana Johnson and Andrew Ristusa contributed to this report. Corker hopeful on approving new war powers authorization for Trump administration. Senator Bob Corker, Republican Tennessee, chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, is hopeful that his panel can approve a new authorization next month affecting the Trump administration's war powers, he said on Wednesday. Corker told reporters that he foresaw a chance of being successful in April at winning committee passage of a new authorization for the use of military force, underscoring that he couldn't commit to a timetable to release a measure that has required intensive consultations with colleagues. We've been working at it ever since we began this year, he said. His comments come as the Senate prepares to vote as soon as early next week on a bipartisan resolution that aims to force an end to the administration's support for a Saudi-led coalition that's engaged in the Yemeni civil war. That vote is likely to serve as a symbolic proxy for lawmakers' long-running debate over ongoing U.S. anti-terrorism operations conducted under the authority of a NOMF that Congress approved in 2001. Senators Jeff Flake, Republican Arizona, and Tim Kaine, Democrat Virginia, last year introduced an updated version of their revised authorization plan, which Corker said he expected to include portions of in whatever consensus measure he readies for committee action. He declined to delve into the details of the measure ahead of its release, saying only that our goal is to find a sweet spot that can win support in both parties. Republican leaders are likely to balk at giving any floor time to a measure that restricts President Donald Trump's war powers, and Corker acknowledged that he had no guarantee of floor time from Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK. The new authorization has got to get through committee first, Corker said, adding later that he was still awaiting input from the administration on some legal language. Oil group to lobby president after stay at Trump hotel. The oil industry's top lobby group is holding a two-day board meeting at the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C., before its executive committee goes to the White House to voice concerns about President Donald Trump's proposed steel tariffs, sources familiar with the meetings told Politico. The American Petroleum Institute's annual board meeting that started Wednesday could involve up to 200 people representing various oil and gas companies, including the top executives of major oil companies, paying to stay at Trump's hotel. It's not known how much API is paying to the hotel, which is controlled by the Trump Organization, the family-owned business headed by the president's son Donald Jr. This kind of thing was a fear a lot of people had when the president did not divest from his business, said Jordan Lebowitz, spokesman for governance watchdog group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. What's stopping the API from going to the president and saying, "Hey, we just dropped a lot of money at your hotel. Just wanted you to know that before we started this meeting." Government conflict of interest rules do not apply to the president, but Lebowitz said patronizing his business could be viewed as a way to try to influence Trump. The Trump Hotel has also hosted several foreign officials, including the Kuwaiti embassy's National Day celebration and Bahrain's National Day party, drawing criticisms that the business violates the Constitution's Foreign Emoluments Clause, which prohibits officials from accepting gifts from foreign powers. At the White House, the API Executive Committee is planning to air its concerns about Trump's steel tariffs and his warnings that the U.S. could walk away from NAFTA negotiations. Trump's 25% tariff on imported steel and criticisms of the current NAFTA agreement have frustrated the industry, which is heavily dependent on foreign metal and international trade. The two issue are tariffs and NAFTA, said a source who requested anonymity because the person was not authorized to talk to the press. A Trump hotel receptionist confirmed the API was holding a two-day event there. An API spokesman confirmed a two-day board meeting was currently taking place but did not offer further details. Energy Secretary Rick Perry and Interior Secretary Ryan Zink are scheduled to attend the board meeting at the Trump Hotel on Wednesday night, two sources told Politico. Press representatives for the Energy Department and Interior Department did not immediately respond to questions. Perry tried to calm industry nerves about the tariff last week, saying at an energy conference in Houston that Trump might still be flexible on how high the import tax on steel would go or which countries it would apply to. "I'm not sure that he has made up his mind with clarity with where he wants to go with this," Perry told reporters at the time. The White House meeting with API's executive board Thursday, which will include outgoing API chief executive Jack Gerard, is tentatively scheduled to include Trump, the two sources said. It would also include Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, one of the sources added. Those two have been the president's main proponents of protectionist trade policies. The Commerce Department did not immediately respond to questions. A White House trade spokeswoman declined to confirm the meeting for Thursday.